Kaplan had formed a group, and mostly he knew men, and it became the group that he knew because they had been students of his. He never stopped teaching at the Jewish Theological Seminary till I think he was in his late 70s, early 80s.
Mm.
He did live to 102.
Mm.
And he said, these were people he knew from his classes, young men who were not happy with what was the given service and asked questions and such. And so in the discussions, there was ideas of what made sense and yet always going back to some of the the same structure of the service, but what do you put into the structure?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there's the introduction blessings, the Shema, the Torah. I mean, there was a skeleton, but I remember being told, this was before I was a member, that the men said, you know, this is fine, but then we need to belong to some other place where we can say Kaddish, where we can have particular, so that was how the Society for the Advancement of Judaism became a synagogue.
Mm-hmm.
It started as the same word, seeking group of people who were trying to find how to be American Jews without throwing overboard tradition and yet have it meaningful for those of us who were participating.
And so what did it mean for you back then? Because you were pretty young back then.
I think, as I said, I didn't have a home where anything was involved one way or another. It meant a place where I, who was the only Jew in my class or my neighborhood, had something I could feel part of, with friends who were sharing things that I cared about, and I belonged. And as opposed to, Sunday morning kind of so forth. And what was wonderful, again, here was this kid of 11, and no one said, well, where are you, where do you, why are you here or something? And I remember one time I sprained my ankle on the way running for the bus, did manage to get to the synagogue, and then realized there was no way I was going to be able to get me home. And two of the men said, we will go with you on a cab and bring you, and I said, well, I think if it's swelling like that, I better get to the outpatient clinic first,
Mm-hmm.
and they took me there.
Mm-hmm.
There was no question, who are you from, what you are. And I remember saying to Ira Eisenstein, who was the assistant rabbi there, who incidentally was Judith Kaplan Eisenstein's husband,
Okay.
and saying, I would like to join, but I don't have the money for dues. And he says, don't worry about it, we can arrange that. So that it meant a place that had intelligent ideas, books and art and great music, and things that were that I felt comfortable, and a kind of, I would say, a place of enjoyable growth.